Good evening, and I am live. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. My name is Kayla Joshua, and I am a financial services mentor. I am the owner operator of Knowledge Solutions Foundation and also Knowledge Solutions, the LLC. I have a nonprofit organization and an LLC. And I just wanted to come this evening and say hello to you guys and good evening. And I wanted to address how small business owners can set up payroll and if payroll is even necessary. I know that when I first started my LLC, I definitely did not have payroll set up. I was a 1099 independent contractor through a couple of different companies. Just like some people work for Uber Eats, some people work for credit repair companies, taxes, etc. So that's what I did. And of course, once you're 1099, you don't have that payroll set up. You don't have that payroll set up. So when you go to file your taxes, you're paying self employment taxes on all of that income that you make. So I wanted to go live to say, I wanted to go live today and say that, you don't have to set up payroll by all means. It's not necessarily mandatory. But if in fact you do set up payroll, I would suggest using a payroll company because as an employer, you will be responsible for setting up the different taxes that come out of your employees' paychecks, whether it's federal taxes, state taxes, etc. I'm trying to think what else. Give me 1 second. And also, you could pay yourself via W-2, you could pay yourself via 1099. Me personally, I feel the most advantageous way to pay yourself would be W-2 because, like I said, when you're 1099, you don't have those taxes coming out. So you want to just go ahead and pay those taxes right away. Even if the money you make, you don't pay it all to yourself in taxes, it's best to go ahead and get that part out the way because a lot of people aren't aware that you wind up having to pay 15.3% taxes on the money that you make. And yes, as a 1099 person, you can write it off. But when you get to writing off too many expenses, then it does become suspicious when you're reporting that to the IRS. So let's just use 40,000 for example. So if you made $40,000 through your side hustle or your LLC at 15.3%, you already owe $6,120 in taxes. So that's why I say it's best to set up some type of payroll system. If you're not that knowledgeable on how to set up payroll for yourself, then I will hire a company where you can just go through them as a third party company and they do the payroll for you. I know a lot of people use Gusto, I think is how you pronounce it. Wave is a good company. My company has used QuickBooks in the past as well as ADP. And when you use those third party companies, they take out the tax deductions for you. So you don't have to calculate how much federal tax comes out of this person's paycheck, how much Medicare comes out, how much Social Security come out, how much state taxes. So you just set up the payroll, you put in your employees' information, whoever works for you, even if it's a family member, and you put how much you're going to pay them, whether it's hourly, salary, etc. And as soon as you put in how much you're going to pay, that system tells you how much is going to need to be in your business bank account. Keyword business bank account, never use your personal account for payroll. How much needs to be in that account in order for that payroll to be covered. So it's not necessary and it's not mandatory, like I said, to set up payroll if you're a solopreneur or a LLC, or even, it's mandatory for S corps. But if you're just a regular single member LLC or a solo entrepreneur, you're not obligated to set up payroll, but you will be paying 15.3% tax on everything you make, which is called the self-employment tax. Now, when you do hire people, make sure, just like any other job, you're the boss, you're the CEO. So you make sure that You have them complete an I-9 form saying that they're eligible to work in the United States. You have them also complete a W-4 form, so you'll know how much withholding they want to take out. I always suggest taking out anywhere from 10 to 15% to make sure that they're covered when it comes to taxes. But some people want to file exempt and don't pay any withholding. Then they'll have to be responsible for that at the end of the year. And I put myself on payroll. So that way I have a paper trail to show how much money my business actually makes and how much money I make as an employee of my own business. Give me 1 second. So the first step for setting up payroll would be to make sure you have an EIN number. We discussed EIN numbers before in the past. They are on the IRS website. All you have to do is Google IRS EIN number. I have known some people to charge people to create an EIN number. Please don't let anybody manipulate you or steal from you. EIN numbers are free. It takes a matter of 5 minutes to create an EIN number. It's nothing that you have to pay for out of pocket. So that's the first step. The second step would be to obtain a employee number based on your current state that you live in. So I know in Georgia, good evening. In Georgia, you have to have a state number for the state labor, and then you also have to have an unemployment number because you have to also pay unemployment to your employees if they're out of work for any reason. Even if you're out of work, if you put yourself on payroll, then you can file an unemployment claim. But if you don't have these already set up, you won't be able to properly do that. So I know QuickBooks is the easy integration a lot of people use. Their payroll is a little bit pricey. I was told Paychex is actually the most reasonable, but I haven't honestly compared the prices between the two. I use ADP because it was a little bit more user friendly, and it was my first time being familiar with how payroll actually works. Let's see here. And you want to collect any employee documents. So most companies, they will actually give you the documents for your employees. So you are your HR department. Like I said, you're the boss, you're the CEO. So you need some type of employee handbook, some type of rules and regulations. Most of these companies, they provide that for you, and you can just white label it and tweak it. Sorry, somebody called me. You can white label it and tweak it to the best of your ability to fit whatever your business has. A lot of people don't have a lot of employees. Some people just start off with their assistant. Some people start off with family members. I don't care who it is. I was watching a video the other day with Shaq, and he got the book that says Starting Business for Dummies. And I actually thought that was quite smart because the first thing he did was put his whole entire family on payroll. He said, Mama, how much you want to make? Cousin, how much you want to make? Dad, how much you want to make? So he decreased his AGI. So say he made $1 million that year. If he paid this person 200,000, this person 500,000, etc., now he's only paying taxes on what's left over and what he paid himself because he put his family on payroll. Smartest thing to do. So, even if you're starting with family members or friends, or you have them doing something for you, you can put your kids on payroll. By law, you can pay your children, I want to say 12,000 and some change, whatever the standard deduction is for that year. You could put your children on payroll, and that decreases the amount of your AGI that you have to pay in taxes. You can have that money go directly to their bank account so they can start building for college. You can have that money go to your account, whatever you want to do. You can actually do that, and that will help, like I said, bring down your total gross amount that you're paying, that you're going to pay in the long run, because so many people are 1099 now. This is, since the pandemic, this is a hustle and bustle industry. Everyone want to be a boss. Everyone is learning how to be an entrepreneur, and there's nothing wrong with it. But make sure you're not setting yourself up for failure. I see so many people make buku money, and then when it's time to file their taxes, they're like, why do I owe the IRS $20,000? Why do I owe the IRS $15,000? You don't have any children. Not only do you not have any children, you don't have anything to write off. There's nothing there. So had you set yourself up for payroll, in the long run, you wouldn't, be stuck in a situation where you're trying to figure out how to rob Peter to pay Paul. And you don't want to get too crazy with the deductions, because then your tax return to be audited. But like I said, payroll is set up from the beginning, and you already paid these taxes to the government. You gave Uncle Sam his fair share. You wouldn't have to worry about it. And to take it a step further, I'm going to actually do a video about it in the future, the difference between S corps, C corps, and regular LLCs. If you make, and I personally would say, over 60,000 a year, you need to put yourself in an S corp. That means you could basically make, say, $100,000, but pay yourself 40, 50,000. You're only going to pay taxes on the amount you pay yourself. The rest of that money stays in that business bank account because you're a shareholder of your business. Hence the word S corp, because you're a small corporation. That's your business, and those are your shares of the business that's still in that business bank account. But I don't want to confuse people who just starting off, but that's another option when it comes to tax deductions. So you need to take all of that in consideration. Now, you can pay yourself without having a direct deposit or go through a payroll company, and you can withdraw from your business bank account and transfer to your personal bank account, or take it out in cash, which is called an owner's draw. You just want to document that. Let's, like I say, keep in mind, because you pay no taxes all year long, you're still going to pay that 15.3%. So apply for your EIN. Make sure you have whatever numbers you need for that state that you reside in, whether it's a labor ID number, unemployment ID. Make sure your employees have the right documents filled out, and you have it because you're the HR department. You need to have that I-9 and that W-4 completed, as well as any state withholding coming from their payroll. Now, the next step would be to choose how frequent that person will get paid. Will you be paying your employees weekly, bi-weekly, semi-monthly, monthly? So that's a decision that you have to create, and create that payroll schedule, so you'll know, from this day to this day, you get paid for this work, and you'll get paid the following week, etc. Payroll can be tricky when you do have a lot of people. So of course, it's good to come up with some type of system and keep track of their time. So, or it's a trust system between you and your employees. So that's another thing you could take into consideration before you start payroll. What system will you use to monitor if that person is actually working? Because you just don't want to pay people and they're not actually doing any work. I went over the employee handbook, and the fact that you want all of this to come from your business bank account, not your personal account. Even if you're your own employee, for the first year, I was my own employee, myself and my daughter. And when I got paid from my 1099 companies, the money went to my business bank account. Once that money went to my business bank account, I didn't personally transfer it, but when I did payroll, the money went to my personal account. So that's how I was able to differentiate between what was business, what was personal. Any expenses that you have and you want to write off, whether it's working from your home, gas, anything you need to run your business, Wi-Fi, etc., make sure it's all coming from your business bank account. So that way, whoever is your bookkeeper or your CPA, they only have one account they're looking at to determine what your profit and loss is. If they got to look at your business bank account, then your personal account, then your credit card, then your other account, it becomes too confusing. So all of this has to be in place before payroll is even set up. Now, the one thing I do like about having to go through a payroll company is they file Form 940s and 941s for you. Now, we all know the ERC is a big thing right now. Everyone's trying to get this $26,000 per employee. ERC, Employee Retention Credit. And I have a lot of tax clients who file as LLCs. And they're like, hey, Kayla, am I eligible for the ERC credit? No, you're not. But I have a business. I have an LLC. That's perfect. That's great. But have you been paying yourself? No. So how are you going to show proof that your business took a loss in the first quarter year or the second quarter year? I don't know. How are you going to show proof that you've been filing quarterly taxes when all of your taxes is coming out at the end of the year, the 15.3%? I don't know. That means you're not eligible for the ERC. So when programs like this roll out from the government in different places and you don't have your paperwork in order, you don't have a bookkeeper, you don't have a profit and loss, you don't have payroll set up, you're not going to be able to get the ERC. If somebody say, and I don't went on a whole nother tangent, but still this needs to be said. If somebody say they can get you the ERC just because you have a business, just because you have an EIN, trust and believe whatever they're doing is fraudulent. Period, point blank. They're making up the Form 941s that's supposed to be reported quarterly to the IRS saying how much money your business made, or, just basically to keep track of your business expenses and taxes each quarter. Um, that's me on my soapbox pertaining to that. But once again, let's roll it back to payroll. If payroll is set up, thank you, Unc. If payroll is set up, then hey, all you would have to do is log into your payroll app and go to your Form 941s, and whoever's doing your ERC application, you have them to submit because you show proof that you have ERC. Matter of fact, I could use Toro, for example. So say you have a Toro business, you have an LLC, and you have employees. You have someone who washes your car for you, that gasses up your car, picks it up. That person does all this for you. I would have a business bank account open first. So let's start there. So you already have an EIN number. You already have your paperwork in order, your articles of incorporation, etc. Once you have all that, you open up the business bank account. You set up payroll. Okay, we set payroll up with paychecks. Perfect. Super simple. This person, you're paying them weekly. So every Wednesday, you run payroll for Friday. They're getting a direct deposit into their account. Business slows down drastically. Now, you want to apply for SBA loan. You want to apply for ERC. You just log into Paychecks to the management side and say, hey, I need my Form 941s. They're right there. Then whoever's doing the ERC can determine if you actually meet the qualifications. So then you have everything set there. It's already set up for you. There's nothing else that you have to do. If you don't have payroll set up or you're doing an owner's draw, you have no proof that you meet these qualifications to get these type of loans. You have no proof. You don't have anything because, once again, your business is not set up properly. And that's what I stress all the time. Make sure your business is set up properly. We already had a Zoom about the foundation of the business, about making sure you have a physical address. If you don't have a brick and mortar, use a virtual address. Make sure you have a business email, not a Gmail, not a Yahoo. Make sure you have a business phone number, not an extra Obama phone number, a Cricket number, or something like that. It has to be a legit business, because if you don't take your business serious, no one else is going to take your business serious. And then also, last but not least, you want to report any new hires. So anybody that you hire on as an employee to your business, you want to definitely make sure you have that documentation, a new hire packet. I don't care if the packet is one piece of paper. You have proof of the hire date you hired this person. You're going to have proof of the date you let this person go. 1099 or W-2. That's rather here nor there. You just always cover yourself as a business owner. The same thing when you're working these 9-to-5 jobs, you need to make sure you're doing it to protect yourself. And I think that's all I have for you guys tonight, unless you have any questions. I'll give it a couple of seconds in case there's any questions on Facebook pertaining to payroll or, just in general, if you have any questions. Hey, Latoya. Hey, Janika. Yeah, Terry, I use QuickBooks currently for one of my LLCs. Do y'all know, off subject, do y'all know most millionaires have, I think it said 43 LLCs? I'm like, dang, I could barely manage one LLC, like 43 LLCs. So it definitely, as time progresses and your money increases, it takes a team. You can't do this all by yourself. So you need some type of financial advisor. Even your mentor should have a mentor. So I just threw that out there. Hey sis, hey Sharita, hey Latasha, hey Kev. I'm not seeing any questions per se. Like I said, it's not mandatory to get started payroll. So if it's just you by yourself, you don't have to, but it does help a lot. You don't get shocked. You don't at the end of the year. You don't want to cuss your tax preparer out at the end of the year. None of that, because you already paid those taxes and you have everything set up properly. And you know what I'll do too? I will find my link for ADP and I'll drop it in here as well in case someone's interested in setting up payroll for their business, because it's never too late. I think I set up payroll the end of the year a couple of years ago. So, and you have to remember, most things are filed quarterly anyway. So you don't want to put yourself in a position where you're definitely taking a loss. If it's just you, should give. Depends. I personally, to me, it depends on how much money you make. Um, I set up payroll for myself once I seen that my side hustle was no longer a side hustle and it really was a legitimate business and I wanted to run it as one. I would say if you're making anywhere but I would say a minimum of 40,000, honestly speaking. Because like I said, just for the example I made, you make 40,000, 1099, no taxes paid out, you owe the IRS off top $6,120. But if you set up payroll and you already paid majority of those taxes, even out of the 40,000 you paid yourself, you ran 20,000 of it under payroll. That cuts that in half drastically because you already got them out the way. Oh, another thing before I forget, when you set yourself up for payroll, you're paying into Medicare, Social Security. You can add a 401k. You can be your own bank. You can add a 401k to your payroll. Why not do the same thing they doing to yourself? It only makes sense. And then when you do get to age of retirement, then it doesn't show this big gap. So I quit my 9 to 5 in October. And so I was no longer paying into Medicare. I was no longer paying into Social Security. I was no longer paying into these different, entities. But as soon as I started setting up payroll for myself and I started paying myself, that money came out. So now the older I get, my money is still increasing. It didn't just stop because I'm just an entrepreneur. If 10,000, you have to report. The IRS say, so it fluctuates. 1 minute it say 400, 1 minute it say 600, but I'm gonna go with 4. According to the IRS, you make over $400, and you made it by doing a job, work. You have to report it to the IRS. So it has to be reported. If you find $20 on the ground, the IRS wants you to report it. So I know we're not reporting it if we found some money. If you break into somebody's house, you're supposed to report the value of the things you stole to the IRS. So big picture is the government want a piece of the pie by hook or crook, illegal or legal. You can sell dope and the IRS want they cut. Now, who gonna file that? They would be crazy to do it, but that is in the IRS guidelines. You don't believe me? Look it up. Look it up. It's the facts. So yeah, the IRS, the government want their piece of the puzzle, the piece of the pie by any means necessary. That's it. That's just what it is. But any other questions or concerns? We almost to our 30-minute mark. Just wanted to drop that info in there. So apply for EIN, have your business bank account, obtain your local and state business ID numbers. Make sure they're filling out the I-9s, W-4s, any state withholding. Choose your pay periods, weekly, bi-weekly, semi-monthly. Make sure you have your own little employee handbook and documentation on how you're going to hire them, and your business bank account established. Whether you go through a company, like I said, ADP, Gusto, Wave, Paychecks, or you just pay yourself by writing a check or simply doing a withdrawal or transfer from your business account to your personal account. Please pay yourself. How much does it cost to get an LLC? It depends on the state that you're in. Each state, it varies. I can't see who it is that wrote the comment. If you're in Nevada, you know about Nevada. Nevada is greedy. So they're a little bit more pricey, but it is worth it. My company does do LLCs, and it comes with the articles of incorporation, which you need to open up the business bank account. It comes with the official seal for your business. Like, you know how you have the boss seal, the engravement. It comes with that. It comes with your Dun and Bradstreet number, which is kind of like your business social security number. That with your EIN number comes with the EIN number as well. And like everything you need to make sure LLC is structured properly, we provide that in all 50 states. So it doesn't matter where you're located in. So whoever it is, you can inbox me. But before you do your LLC, make sure you have, like I said, the business address, the business phone number, and the business email address. And make sure you have 2 business names to choose from. You want it to be something that is vague, not specific to that certain business, because you might change your mind in the future. Then if you named it Hair by Kayla, and then you decided to sell bikes, that's not going to work. Now you have to dissolve the LLC and start again. So just be unique, be different when it comes to the name, and make sure that it's something that fits you, because you're going to have to brand yourself at the end of the day. When you pay yourself, do you still have to pay tax? Absolutely. But like I said, think about it. When you pay yourself, I wonder if I could pull up my last paycheck. So I just paid myself not too long ago. Let me see. I know how much I paid myself. Let me see how much I received afterwards. It should show. So I know I just paid myself $1,000, right? Let's see. I think I still, after taxes was taken out and Medicare and Social Security, etc., my net I walked away with was still over 9 something. And then too, now I have the peace of mind that I don't have to worry about that at the end of the year. So that's $1,000 less that I have to worry about paying that 15% on of that self-employment tax. So yes, it dipped into my money, but I don't have to worry about it, because if I didn't pay myself off top, the government taking $150. So I paid less than the $150, and I paid Medicare, I paid Social Security, I paid myself, I paid into my 401k, etc. So yes, taxes does pay, but like I said, if you have an S corp, which I converted to, then all the money you make, you don't have to pay yourself all that money. That's the little workaround. You pay yourself what the IRS considers a reasonable salary. So that could be whatever amount you choose. Most people do anywhere from 30 to 40% of the money that they make. But also to keep in mind, if you're trying to purchase a home or large purchases, you want to show that you are paying yourself enough money to cover your bills. But like I said, that's for a whole nother live when we talk about the difference between regular solopreneurs, LLCs, S corps, and corporations. That's another live that I'm gonna come up with on another day. Hey, Mr. Dixon, how you doing? Alrighty. Well, thank you guys for joining tonight. Like I said, you could have been anywhere, but you chose to be here, and I really do appreciate that. And once again, my name is Kayla Joshua, and I am a financial services mentor. I help small business owners who make under 500K learn how to make 100K in 90 days. And we're going to do it the right way, and it's going to be structured correctly. So that way, we're not stuck on Uncle Sam. But if you have any other questions or concerns, by all means, inbox me, message me. You can go to my website at joinkayla.com. And you are so welcome. You're welcome, Unc. You guys have a good night.